In tonight's headlines, Restore Belize celebrates the success of I Am Belize Scholarship recipient, the first cohort of female entrepreneurship program graduates, and we take a look at rebuilding Belize's honey industry. These stories and more on this week's edition of Belize Now. Thanks for joining us on this Friday, July 5th, 2019. I am Erin Guzman. Earlier this year, we told our viewers of a group of women who were participating in the Beltrade-led Female Entrepreneurship Program. From March 1st to June 28th, 13 women from all over the country participated, and on Thursday, July 4th, a graduation ceremony was held to mark their successful completion of the program. Janelle Rodriguez has the story.
In early March, a group of 13 women commenced a female entrepreneurship program hosted by the Belize Trade and Investment Development Service, Beltrade, through support from the Regional Center of Promotion for MSME. These women, whose businesses range from priority areas such as spa and wellness, the creative industry, business process outsourcing, BPO, and agro-processing, hail from all districts of Belize. On Thursday, July 4th, the program was closed with a graduation ceremony to honor successful women participants. Honorable Tracy Panton, Minister of State in the Ministry of Investment, Trade and Commerce, told us more about the significance of the program.
It's absolutely important because we all know that small micro enterprises make up the backbone of our local economy, and entrepreneurship helps to build small and medium enterprises. I think this program is particularly special because it brings together a group of women entrepreneurs who are working together, not in competition, as they say, in collaboration, to build goods and services that we can offer not only to our Belizean economy, but to our regional and global economy.
Through group meetings, workshops, and personalized business advising, the women developed skills in self-leadership, financial management, life and business goal setting, and customer discovery and validation. Here is what some of the participants had to say about their experience.
Well, I've gained a camaraderie of sisterhood, as well as I've been empowered with more knowledge to financially manage my business as well, and to grow it and go to the next position that it needs to reach.
Other than 12 sisters, I've gained great knowledge from my business in terms of setting goals and achieving them, and never stop. Don't ever quit, even if the problem seems very hard. There is a way to everything.
It has already helped me. I have made a lot of changes and adjustments with every aspect of my business, and I also see that in the future my business will be able to grow even bigger and also create jobs for young women and young male also.
I'm for sure more confident. I've improved my leadership skills. I've also did some research on the market when it comes to my products. I do coconut oil-based products, so I'm definitely more confident in what I do. I'm able to be more assertive.
The FEP program is not the end of Beltrade's efforts to assist these female entrepreneurs. Honorable Tracy Panton told us how the institution plans to work with the women beyond their graduation from the program.
Once you're a client of Beltrade, you continue to be a client for as long as you desire. So there is continued support in terms of mentorship, in terms of sharing new best practices, certainly new tools that may come up from time to time to continue to support the development of their projects, their ideas, and hopefully their lifelong dreams.
In addition, a major achievement of the program was the launch of the Women Mentorship Network, She Mentors Belize, that features female entrepreneurs and leaders who champion for their inclusion in the entrepreneurship dialogue. Graduates of the program shared advice for young women who also aspire to venture into entrepreneurship.
Start with something you're passionate with, because if you're passionate about it, you won't give up as easily. And do something that you love, that somebody is willing to pay you money for.
Never give up. It's not an easy road. Being an entrepreneur is not going to be easy. I've failed so much time. I've tried to give up like number of times. So never give up. If it's something that you believe in, you pursue it with all that you have.
To not give in to your fears. It is scary sometimes, and sometimes it is very rewarding, but never ever give up. And always believe in what you do and yourself.
Do what you love and go and try it. Don't be afraid, because when you are afraid to do something, it keeps you back.
The program is expected to help in building sustainable businesses that are not just necessity-based, but instead businesses that have growth projections in the country and the region. For Belize Now, I am Janelle Rodriguez.
Since its establishment in 2010, Restore Belize has been establishing public-private partnerships to fulfill its mission to transform the lives of children and families at low socioeconomic levels, those exposed to gang-related environments, and low overall academic performance. This week, we take a look at their I Am Belize scholarship program aimed at enabling students that come from economically challenging circumstances to complete their secondary education. Here's that story.
16-year-old Aliyah Main is the valedictorian for the 2019 graduating class of Gwen Lizarraga High School in Belize City. Her story is an inspiring one, as she and her family have faced many challenges which led to difficult times that posed much uncertainty for her future. Along with being one of 3 children to an unemployed mother and an incapacitated father, Aliyah was a victim of constant bullying in school.
When she first started high school, I thought she never may have finished. Because she came home one day, she said, "Mommy," he said, "I don't want to go back to school." So I said, "Why?" He said, "Mommy, people, they bully me." He said, "Mommy, people bullying me." And I tell her, I said, "Aliyah, no, I'm not sending you to school to make nobody bullying you and you pay attention to them. I said, you go back to school and you don't pay them no mind. Don't pay them no mind." And that's what she did, went back to school, and they keep on fooling with her on up to Fort Farm.
But Aliyah fought through.
I have a favorite quote from Martin Luther King that says, "If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, crawl. If you can't crawl, by all means, just keep moving. Never give up."
Aliyah is a testament of the impact that programs like the I Am Belize Scholarship Program can have on its recipients.
The main objectives of the program was to contribute to the increase in secondary school education completion rates. It was also to enable them to become successful citizens. We also wanted to provide the kind of support services that would enable these students to not only just be successful students, but to be students that would contribute to the improvement in society. The overarching goal is for the students to become conscious architects of their own future.
At present, the program has about 52 students with a success rate of about 75%.
We have 6 of 6 students who have completed their secondary education this year, and this is the second time in a row that we've had 100% success rate. Our largest amount was about 3 years ago, or 4 years ago. We had 19 of 20 graduating. The main things that we provide for the program are things that will enable the student to not focus on anything expense related, but just to focus on their studies.
The Restore Belize staff is proud to note that for the first time in 5 years, the program can boast a valedictorian.
I first met Aliyah about 3 years ago. She was coming from another program through the Ministry of Education where the funds had expired, and so we took her on to continue with us. Very intelligent, very focused, And you could see this is somebody who knows what she wants.
Aaliyah has showcased these qualities throughout high school, being honored as Most Promising Student every year. Her teachers always saw something special in her.
She is a very diligent, responsible student. She was like my right hand. I would always call on Aaliyah to get things done in the class, and she was also a part of the prefect body that I was able to work with her in that.
But with all the good qualities she possesses, Aaliyah was a victim of constant bullying at school. She would spend most of her recess time sitting in the science lab alone or occasionally chatting with Mrs. Rabateau, her science teacher. In one instance, Aaliyah was seriously injured by another student, ending up in the hospital, fearing to return to school. But these roadblocks did not change her path.
It was horrible, but what I liked about Aaliyah was that she rise above that. That happened earlier in the semester, and she continued to press on and pass and place that incident behind her, and today she topped the class.
Aaliyah's plan is to attend junior college, granted she finds the funding, and her career goal is to become a pharmacist.
I love dealing with medicine. Yeah.
What about it do you like?
Well, I just like when I went for job training, I went to a pharmacy and I saw how people come in and they ask for medications and stuff, and some of the medications we had to mix ourselves, and it was fun, writing up prescriptions, and I enjoyed it.
But Aaliyah couldn't do it without her very encouraging mom, who supports the family as Aaliyah's dad has been ill for years now and unable to do much for himself. Miss Stevens is grateful for the I Am Belize scholarship, which is responsible for her daughter's education.
I was happy. I didn't even know if she was going to high school. It really take a little burden off me.
Miss Stevens, who due to certain circumstances was unable to complete her education, said that she saw from an early age that her daughter had the potential to excel. She proved it when she graduated in second place in her primary school graduating class.
When I saw that she want to excel in school, I just keep pushing her. Go ahead, baby. Do it, do it, do it. You can do it, you can do it, until she come this far. I'm so happy. I'm so proud. What I wanted to do, I couldn't do, but my daughter came from behind and did it.
A bullied student, daughter of a struggling mother, a Belizean youth with high hopes in her future, Aaliyah encourages other youth to remain focused.
There's a lot of crime, violence, and poverty around, but no matter where you come from, no matter your background or anything, once you want it, go for it.
For Belize Now, I'm Miriam Longsworth.
Through the I Am Belize program, over 50 students have so far graduated from high school. We'll have more stories after the break. Stay with us.
Belize's economy has performed phenomenally well in the first quarter of 2019, posting a 5.2% growth in GDP, largely due to the government of Belize's commitment to the agriculture and fishery industries. Tourism also continues to see steady increases. Inflation is non-existent over the past year, and the labor force recorded its lowest rate of unemployment in the history of Belize. Working hand in hand with Belizeans, the government of Belize moving Belize forward.
The honey industry was a once thriving industry in Belize. But now, through the efforts of the Ministry of Agriculture and the Belize Marketing and Development Corporation, the industry is making a comeback. Our Belize Now team headed to northern Belize where they got an inside look at beekeeping. Here's that story.
Africanized honeybees, better known to us as killer bees, stir a lot of fear and panic in us. While the insects are deadly, they are equally beneficial to our environment, and they produce that natural, sweet, and syrupy fluid called honey. The 1980s were a good time for Belize's honey industry, a time when there were beekeeping cooperatives, production of almost 700,000 pounds of honey annually, and even an export market to Europe and other countries. However, between the arrival of Africanized bees and the effects of herbicide spraying programs, the European bee populations suffered adverse effects, and so did the once buzzing honey industry in Belize.
It came with different management practices that need to be done, and our beekeepers at that time are not ready to deal with that situation. And because as well it brings other investment into it, because it requires the management practices has to be done in a more improved way, I would have said, no, because you need protective gears like what I have right now. First, with the European bees, you don't need those things. You just need to put a hat or a veil on top of your face and you go work your bees. But with Africanized bees, you can't do that anymore. You need to be very protective, no?
Fast forward to 2019, the honey industry is slowly rebuilding with the help of determined beekeepers and Africanized honeybees. In fact, the revival of this industry is so important that the Ministry of Agriculture has now identified beekeeping as one of the priority areas for growth.
It brings needed income to people. And as well, it's an important component of agriculture when it talk about food, about the food that we grow. No? It has the potential to increase livelihood among rural communities. No?
2018 figures show that there are an estimated 125 beekeepers throughout the country. The Cayo, Corozal, and Orange Walk districts account for the highest populations, and interest is growing in other parts of the country.
Toledo district is looking very promising. There's a lot of encouragement in the district that people are interested in getting the industry going as well down south. No? And in terms of population of colonies, I think we are around 2,000 and change of colonies around the country. No? And there's a major interest of people increasing into this industry now.
Key to the industry's growth is the support of the Belize Marketing and Development Corporation, BMDC, which has taken on the role of developing the value chain. The BMDC's initial involvement began in 2017 through a project in northern Belize led by the Food and Agriculture Organization.
We took over the role of doing some more work in the development of the value chain. We identified that the market was the weakest point at that time. Apart from that, there was organization that needed to happen at the beekeepers level. But that wouldn't have happened if there wasn't a stable market for the beekeepers. And so because we are a marketing entity, we saw it fit to establish a buying center.
Beekeepers who are enrolled and registered with the Ministry of Agriculture are able to access the two services offered through the BMDC buying center. Those include the purchase of their product in bulk and the provision of equipment and products necessary for the expansion of their apiaries.
Before, you'd find out that the beekeepers had to wait for a long period of time before they were able to sell all their product and get the income that they would generate from the sales of those products. That limited the amount of investment that they could do in expanding their apiaries. But today, because we are able to pay them for their bulk production, they are now able to invest in expanding their apiaries with the finances that they get from their product. Whenever they take out equipment or other products, they are able to pay us either in cash or through the barter system, which is payment with the actual product. That way, it makes it a bit more easier for the beekeepers to invest in their apiaries.
The honey purchased by the BMDC is bottled and sold under the Belize Jewels brand, owned by the corporation. This is also an area in which the BMDC lends its support to other producers.
Beekeepers usually would come, and if they're not selling the honey to us, they would ask us to help them develop their presentation. So we help them with the bottling and the packaging of their products. The labeling, which is usually a challenge, that is the assistance that we provide to them. So we try to make their products appealing to the market.
Though the honey industry is making its comeback, there are still challenges to overcome.
If you look around us, we see a lot of deforestation. And we know if we're going to promote beekeeping, then we have to be more conscious in protecting our environment, though, because our bees depends on those the environment. And other challenges would I say that the incoming of important pests to the industry. We have the pest, the varroa mite pest, which if it is not managed properly, then that also has an impact to the industry. Then now we have recently in 2015 we have the introduction of the small hive beetle into the industry, which again poses serious threat to the industry if it is not managed properly.
But deforestation and pests are just a part of the growing pains for this once thriving industry. Beekeeping also requires a great deal of investment, and that requires financing.
The beekeepers need some more training and development, skills development in the area of business orientation. We find that the beekeepers don't really understand how much it costs them to actually produce the product. There is a gamma of products that can be developed from honey and the byproducts, but none has been developed at the moment because the beekeepers are either not aware or simply can't invest in those products as yet. No? For them to be able to expand their apiaries, they need access to financing, and that the financial institutions don't really understand how the beekeeping farming system works, and so they don't understand how the payment system would work to facilitate the access to them.
Quality assurance is another crucial part of developing the industry, and to ensure this, the BMDC has established a quality assurance pilot program in partnership with the Ministry of Agriculture. The program is comprised of two components. The first component focuses on good beekeeping practices out in the field, and the other on good manufacturing practices done in the packing house.
There's a series of products, honey, that is being bottled by different producers, and some of these producers also are mixing their honey. So you will find that there's adulterated honey in the market. What we want to do is we want to be able to guarantee that under this brand, the Belize Jewels brand, we will sell 100% quality honey.
For beekeepers Joseph Ermoff and Hilberto Coba, the effort to reestablish the honey industry is an exciting endeavor. As young boys, both men worked alongside their fathers when the industry was at its peak. Now partners in beekeeping, the men are grateful to the BMDC for helping them to rebuild their apiaries.
They are helping us in a lot of, by providing us the equipment, like for example the boxes, so we don't have to go around and find who have. They provide us those, and we sell our honey. We purchase from them the boxes and we pay them back with the same honey we deliver to them.
All the honey we extract and we get, BNDC or marketing board actually, they buy everything from we. So and that is a good thing because we are making some money out of it.
Through the struggle, the men remain hopeful that the honey industry will return to its once booming status and the ability to export.
The beekeepers need support, so we could reach to the scale of what we used to have first. By ourselves, it's kind of hard right now. The situation right now is kind of hard. So the only way I see it in a way that we need a backup. The beekeepers need backup, so we reach to the scale to this production of honey so we could export honey.
Together,
with the Ministry of Agriculture and the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture, IICA, the BMDC has developed a 5-year strategy to address challenges along the value chain. The ultimate goal is for the industry to be enhanced and export ready at the end of the 5 years. So, for those considering venturing into this new market, the BMDC has this message.
The honey industry is here to stay. The honey industry is a very viable industry. It has huge potential. It is an industry that is opening up in Belize. It's growing, it's expanding, and we have the opportunity for them to integrate themselves in this sector of agriculture.
For Belize Now, I am Janelle Mencias.
For a copy of the 5-year plan, persons can contact the BMDC at info@bmdc.bz or call their office at 227-3409. Stay tuned for more stories after the break.
On Wednesday, May 8th, Belizeans soundly decided to take the unfounded Guatemalan claim to the International Court of Justice, the ICJ. According to the special agreement, this is what happens next. 1. By June 8th, 2019, the government of Belize will submit the 2008 special agreement to the ICJ. Guatemala has already done so since their referendum was held in 2018. This will give the ICJ official authority to hear the dispute and to deliver a final binding result. The ICJ will then prepare a notice of when the trial will commence. 2. Next, Guatemala will have up to 1 year, that's 12 months, to submit their case to the ICJ. 3. Belize will then have up to 1 year, that's 12 months, to respond to Guatemala's submission. 4. From there, Guatemala will be given up to 6 months to reply to our arguments, and 5. Belize will then have up to 6 months thereafter to reply to Guatemala's response. 6. After the period of written arguments ends, the ICJ may allow additional pleadings, including oral arguments, and would set deadlines for those. 7. Once the timeline for arguments has ended, the ICJ will deliberate and make a ruling in accordance with the instructions and authorities granted to them by Belize and Guatemala, as per the 2008 special agreement. 8. After the ICJ's ruling is delivered, Belize and Guatemala will have 3 months to establish a joint commission to physically demarcate the boundaries between the two countries in accordance with the ICJ's ruling. The entire process will take no less than 4 years and can be as many as 6 years. This ICJ process will bring a final end to this long-standing Belize-Guatemala dispute. Belize and Guatemala will be able to put old divisions and antagonisms behind us and ensure that peace, development, and cooperation prevail.
As the project to provide solar lights in areas without access to electricity continues, the Department of Rural Development, along with the Grid Earth project, conducted a distribution of solar lamps in the villages of Pueblo Viejo, San Benito Puente, and San Jose in the Toledo district. Our Belize Now team was there, and Janelle Rodriguez tells us more.
An estimated 1.2 billion people worldwide lack access to electricity, and most resort to kerosene as their primary lighting source of light. Kerosene, however, can threaten one's health and safety. This week, the government of Belize, in collaboration with the Grid Earth project, provided an alternative for Belizeans living in areas without electricity. The alternative comes in the form of safe, convenient, and environmentally friendly solar lights. John Cochran, a director of the Grid Earth project, told us what inspired the initiative.
The lack of safe light, the toxic fumes created by candles, kerosene, and open fires is the #1 killer of children under 5 years of age in the world in places that don't have electricity. So when you put all those numbers together, approximately one person dies every 15 seconds or so somewhere in the world because they don't have safe light. And when we found this out, we made it our mission to find a solution that would help bring an end to that problem.
The project, providing solar light in villages without access to electricity, started in 2009, and this week, lights were provided in 3 of the last 4 villages without electricity in Belize. Coordinator of Rural Development, Ernest Banner, told us how the use of solar lights will benefit the villagers.
First of all, they'll have light whenever they want it. Then it's green light. It's clean, it's solar light converted, solar energy converted to light. Children will be able to do their homework at night without inhaling smoke and the dangers of the smoke. So it will improve their health. We expect that it should also improve their grades because they'll have more time at night to do homework.
It has been widely asserted that replacing kerosene lamps with solar lighting could offer relief from the cost and toxic smoke of kerosene, providing better quality and more hours of nighttime light and enhancing safety. Some residents of San Benito Poite and Pueblo Viejo village told us how they felt to receive access to solar-powered light.
It's a very good privilege. It's a gift from the ministry of local government, and which is, I believe, the government has been, thinking about the rural communities like Poite itself. I believe it's a great help, and I really appreciate the work or the gift. Using kerosene for students, either they can get blind by the smoke, inhale the smoke, cause their lungs problem, I believe. And using candles, I believe it's another risk, because if you leave candle close by to a bed and it causes fire, and at some places when you heard house being burned because of candle, and these are the use, and but using these lamps right now, it gives us the opportunity of using another terms of lights. And I believe this is a good relief.
This is very important. This is helpful for us because we don't have light here in our village. Some do have, but some of our villagers don't have. But this is very helpful because we're using kerosene and some using candles. So this is very helpful and less for us to buy candles and kerosene.
I'm very proud of it. I'm happy, overjoyed that at least they recognize Pueblo Viejo village, the rural villages where we really need what we need right here, and the solar, except that we are thankful.
With only one community left, the government of Belize has ensured that Belizeans in communities without access to electricity now have access to a cost-effective and energy-conscious solution.
Hopefully within the next year, we'll have blanketed the entire country of Belize. Every village without access to electricity will have access to solar light in their home.
By providing access to solar lighting in rural areas, there is an increase in safety and security. For Belize Now, I am Janelle Rodriguez.
This week on Wednesday, July 3rd, children from across the country gathered at the Best Western Biltmore Plaza Hotel in Belize City to participate in a national children's consultation on disaster risk reduction. The one-day event is a joint initiative of UNICEF Belize, the Ministry of Labor, Local Government and Rural Development, and the National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO. Denise Roberto, Early Childhood Development and Education Officer at UNICEF Belize, told us more about the gathering.
We've been working with these partners to support the rights of children and adolescents as it relates to emergency. We are supporting the development of a protocol to guide the actions and services, particularly for children and adolescents, when there's a disaster, when there's an emergency, and this includes either man-made or natural disasters. When you look at the needs of children and also those most vulnerable, like the elderly and like people with disabilities, we need to consider their safety in all the different sectors, not only safety for life, but for a life that is thriving, a life that is supported, a life that is healthy, even in times of emergencies.
The children engaged in interactive sessions, which included small group discussions and presentations, drawing, and storytelling. The findings deduced from the session will be used to validate action lists proposed in the draft protocol for an integrated protection of children and adolescents during disasters. Roberto told us more about the protocol.
When we look at today's work, we are looking at the draft protocol. It's a document that guides the actions for service providers, that guides the actions for shelter managers, that guides the actions for those who are providing care as to how a child can be protected in the environment, how a child can be protected from harm, how a child's education rights are being serviced during emergencies, what's happening in terms of health, sanitation, nutrition, water, and even child protection from harm and abuse. We are talking with children to have them involved, to get their input as to what this document can look like and as to whether this document is really addressing some of their own needs and concerns.
And that's it for this edition of Belize Now. If you want to provide feedback or send in your comments, please feel free to email us at info@pressoffice.gov.bz or visit our Facebook page and let us know what you think. We look forward to hearing from you. From all of us here, have a great week. Until next time.